Well, I did not get a ton of sleep because it stormed all night last night. I slept a bit this morning, which was nice. The good news is I was really worried about it being hot for my initial ascent here out of camp, but it's cold, so it's kind of good news. Here's what it looks like outside. Here's the view from my tent. There's my poles that I'm sure are wet still. I'll have to stop and dry off my tent. Oh, there's my message sending. There's no cell service here, so communicating through my Garmin Mini. I'm Kathleen, and I'm out here hiking with pots. This kind, not that kind. Good morning, it's 9:30. Took me about an hour to get up and out. That's from the time that I kind of woke up for good and really decided that I needed to get up. Didn't sleep much last night because it stormed all night. I stayed warm, I stayed dry. And now I've got this pretty steep ascent. I mean, okay, it's not that steep, but for first thing in the morning, it feels steep. Anyway, I'm really happy that it's cold, even though I can barely feel my fingers and my face hurts because I got a lot of uphill today. So I brought my breakfast in my hip pocket. I'm gonna eat it on the way up here. I didn't want to take any more time. So slow and steady up the hill. I'll check in later. That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm going. All right, I got up to the top of the fire road just as the sun is starting to come out. So I'm gonna stop here, heading that way. I'm gonna stop here while there's space and do a little layer shift and pack reorganization. Okay, I've switched out some clothes, got my poles back out, and chugged some water. Ready to head up the trail. I'm gonna turn my phone off for a while again, because I've got a long 10-mile day. I'm starting off with a pretty heavy pack. I've got nearly 6 liters of water. Well, maybe 5 now because I just drank a bunch. And also some extra food weight, which I think I'll explain later when I'm not so out of breath. Salt break. So I think I'm about 2.5 miles in from camp. My campsite was about 0.9 miles from the PCT. So putting it all together, today I've got about 10 miles to go. So I'm taking my first break. Mornings are really hard, as with many people with POTS. I have low blood volume, and overnight it kind of resets lower, and then I spend all day taking salt and water to get my blood volume back up. So what that means in essence is everything feels like a workout. Walking across a room, getting up feels like a workout. So hiking up a mountain with a 30-pound pack is really hard. One backpacker passed me, he like flew by, and I was like, see ya. And just now there was a jogger that came by. He like didn't have anything with him. It must be one of those ultra marathoner types. I was like, that is something that I will never do. Even prior to Dysautonomia, I was not much of a runner. The longest I ever ran was about 6 miles, and that was like when I was on crew. I was rowing and we were working out daily, and it was still really hard for me. Anyway, I can't say enough good things about this backpack. You may have noticed that I struggled finding a pack that worked, but this one has great padding. It's heavier than like some of the minimalist ones because it has so many amazing features. I was like, where should I put my glasses? Oh look, it's a glasses clip. Where should I put my poles? Oh look, it's set up for a pole. Every single pull tab on it is designed for efficiency. Like, nobody's paying me to say this, folks, but this Gregory pack, Holy smokes. This is the men's, but there's a women's pack that's similar. My torso is too long for the women's pack. It's a men's medium. I'll have to look up the model because I don't remember. But yeah, there's like an umbrella elastic holder, and there are like all these straps, and it's just so well designed. Anyway, all of that to say, I am taking a bit of a weight penalty because I have to carry a little bit more water than most people, and I have really specific food needs. So what I've been doing with my support crew is they're coming at night and they're bringing me like meat and like a giant camp stove and vegetables. So I cook at night and have a really big meal. And then I'm actually hiking with ice packs, which is like stupidly heavy, to keep meat cold. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Have a little bit of a meat and ghee snack before I get on my way. So I wrapped up my food here in my insulated pants to just keep it extra cold. It's not pretty and the taste is not amazing, but it's exactly what I need. All right, well, I'm feeling a little bit better after a break and some food, a bunch of water. Salt should kick in another 15 minutes or so. Just passed, 3 hikers just passed. So today I've already seen more than other days. I'll turn you around and show you the scenery here. It remains cold, not freezing, but a good amount of cold. I'll do that without me in it, hold on. Where I came from. That's where I'm going. This is just perfect weather for hiking. I was going to leave my phone off for another 20 minutes until I got to my next salt break, but the views are spectacular and I wanted you to see them. I'll turn my camera around. Where I came from, and that's where I'm going. So I have to admit that I'm just a little bit jealous of some of the hikers that are blowing past me doing, 15, 20 miles a day. I trained really hard for this, and I just don't think that I have capacity to do something like that. Most days when I wake up in the morning, I'm a bit dizzy and a bit lightheaded. And it usually gets a bit better by afternoon, evening, kind of depending on some variables. So throwing an additional 25, 30 pounds on my back and tackling trail obviously exacerbates my symptoms. And I just have to go really slow. They say in the hiker community to hike your own hike, and I just have to keep reminding myself that this is my hike, and I'm happy to be here. Even if it takes me a little bit longer, hurts a little bit more, feels a little bit more uncomfortable. I have access to these places and these views where very few people relatively get to see. And it's pretty amazing. This is a big change in scenery. Getting a little bit lower and towards some water here. Looks like some folks have carved a little path down the hill to refill, but I have plenty of water for the day, carrying everything I need. So today has been a little bit more fun than yesterday because the weather's been so cool. I'm not so worried about snakes. It's a bit cold for the snakes and lizards to be out. I saw some lizards this morning when the sun came up for a little while, but it's pretty chilly for that. So in addition to just being cooler weather to hike in, I've not had to like micro focus so much on the shrubs around me. Not to mention generally it's been more open terrain. But like this, coming up yesterday when it was warm, I would have been much more careful for snakes. But today I've been able to look up a lot more and it's just been beautiful. This appears to be a good resting rock, so I'm gonna take my lunch break here. I'm only about 10 minutes from Salt anyway, so this would be a good place to stop for a bit. The sun came out for just a moment, but had a little snack. Gonna head out. It looks like it's about, according to the map, it is 4.7 miles to the junction that goes to my campsite tonight, which is Burnt Rancheria in the Mount Laguna area. So setting off, and I'll check in later. Ooh, there was definitely something that was making noise in the grass just now. The sun came out. So, reptiles. The sun came out. It's a really nice temperature right now. I'm still wearing a few layers from when I stopped because I was cold. I might get a little too warm here in a minute, but it's so pretty. I stopped and chatted with a hiker from Germany. Oh, I'm getting a text message. Who was out here for 4 months. She said she's going to go as far as she can in that time. I'm interested in the different kinds of people who are out here. The guys I saw the other day with their shirts off who were like super ultra light and kind of seemed like they were in it for the party. And you got folks who are with a big group who kind of keep to themselves, and you got people who stop and talk to everybody. It's an interesting mix for sure. That's where I'm going. Creek down there. That's where I'm coming from. Just a couple more comments before I turn off for a little while. I started this morning at 4,100 feet. Gonna top out today around 6,000 feet. So there's definitely some up and down with that. It's not just 1,900 feet up and that's it. I feel the elevation a little bit, but at least I've been at some elevation for a few days now. I live more or less at sea level, so I can even feel it when it's 3,000 feet. In any case, I've got about 2 miles to get up 600 feet, which isn't really that bad. I'm really, really glad that I trained at Mission Trails, where there are lots and lots of steep ups. Am I tired? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Also yes. But do I feel like I'm gonna make it today? Yes. I'm going so slow. I've got another 1.3 miles to the top. Just trying to like literally 1 foot in front of the other right now. It's rough. Let me show you where I'm going. Got kind of steep and gravelly and dirty and hot. I wanted to pop on because the last couple miles sucked. That was really hard. But I reached the top. So from here it's mostly downhill. It's like a little bit of up and down. I'm still a couple miles from my campsite, but I stopped in the shade here, first shade in a long time, because it smells like pine trees. This is the first like set of pine trees, and it's such a great smell. Growing up, I always hiked like in the redwoods and other pine trees, so this smell is one of my favorites. That's where I came from. And that's where I'm going. Here, super tired, but made it. And now I'm halfway through my trip, almost 25 miles in. I need to do the math. 3 more days. Hey, gonna have to ask you to leave there, buddy. You're kind of breaking me out. Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. Come on. This campground is beautiful. It's very empty on a weekday, and all the sites are pretty far apart. I've seen a couple of people walk by, but it's really, really quiet. There's like nobody here. It's awesome.